So today's video is going to be about overstimulation or digital overstimulation from cell phone use. I know that even without having social media, except for maybe X that I use once in a while, and obviously like YouTube, but I don't really consider YouTube to be like, super social media for the most part. I tend to believe that overstimulation is a real thing and a real problem that people have in society. Like I said, I don't have like a lot of social media or anything like that, but I know that I do suffer from overstimulation from overuse of using my phone. Like I'll start to get headaches, maybe start feeling like a little bit of irritability or something like that. It's a real thing, and for people that use the computer more or just the cell phone use more, I think it could be something that they struggle with when it comes to depression, anxiety, and things that kind of come along with it. So yeah, let's. I wanted to kind of show an article and read an article and talk about it, and then I wanted to maybe show a little video and kind of talk about it. So, digital technology has become an important part of our daily lives. Our laptops, smartphones, computers, and tablets help us at work, allow us to stay connected with friends and family, and keep us entertained for hours. A 2022 report showed that on average, adults in the U.S. spent more than 13 hours a day using phones, laptops, tablets, televisions, and gaming devices. That's a lot, man. Like between like let's say you work from home or like have a desk job at home, you're literally looking at a screen and doing all that for at least 8 hours. And then if you come home and watch some TV or get on your phone, yeah, that makes sense. So that's a lot, man. That's a lot of you really can't, nothing much you could do if you like have a job that deals with it. Nothing really much you could do there. So yeah, I could see that that could become a problem. Unfortunately, technology can make life more difficult in certain ways. Perhaps you've noticed that you're often in a bad mood or feel anxious after checking your social media feeds. These may be signs of what is increasingly known as digital overload or an association problem known as information overload. So, what is digital overload? Digital overload happens when you spend too much time consuming media through screens. This makes it hard to process the information you're taking in. Digital overload can happen whether you're online, watching TV, or playing video games. It can lead you to feel distracted, anxious, fatigued, or even depressed. Yeah, I'll definitely feel fatigued and have headaches. Like if I get too much screen time, it happens for me. Digital overload can result from habits such as spending too much time on your devices, consuming too much information. The amount of information you absorb online can pose a problem too. Information is available around the clock from a seemingly infinite number of sources. Your brain needs a break from all that. Yeah, just think about it. Like back in like you know, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the only really information that you really got was from like a few like cable channels and maybe the newspaper. There wasn't all these social media things that are just like bombarding you with all this stuff, all this information. That can just be like such a headache. That's why I always say like, if you have too much like information, like I don't think the human brain should be able to is allowed to process, isn't, what am I trying to say? Your brain shouldn't be allowed to process so much information at once. I don't think it can. I don't think that we were designed that way. Just think all the negative stuff that you see all the time, all and just like um, maybe false information that maybe could stress you out. Uh, other stuff that stresses you out that you have easy access to, like maybe you don't have a lot of money right now, so you could like access stuff on your phone that you see that you don't have a lot of money. Maybe you get some like emails saying like, hey, your bill is due, or this is how much it is, it's too much, or um it could be really anything. It could be anything that could be thrown at you when it really shouldn't. When before it was just the newspaper and just maybe just a few channels on the television. So media multitasking. Your brain can also become overwhelmed when you use more than one device at a time. So yeah, like using your phone and like playing PlayStation or something. For example, you might check social media while binging the latest Netflix show. However, media multitasking doesn't do any favors. Research shows that people who media multitask perform poorly on tasks that require focus. Yeah, for sure. So sorry if you hear that. That's my cat. He's scratching at the door. Yeah, I mean, I think that a problem with this as well is that people can't focus anymore. Like, getting through a 2 hour like movie is really hard for people to get through without like wanting to have the urge to check their phone or try to figure out what's going on, who liked their stuff. Yeah, it's a big deal. No wonder people are just getting headaches from all this stuff. I would. How much digital consumption is too much? Research has not quite figured out what our limit is when it comes to time online. However, experts recommend less than 2 hours of screen time per day for most children under age 18. For children under 5, they recommend even less screen time. Yeah, my wife and I, we don't let our kids watch, too much TV or they hardly ever use laptops. You know how like when you see parents hand their kids laptops in the store, we don't do that. We don't give them laptops in the car. We don't give them laptops in the store or anything like that. We did when we first had our firstborn, when we were kind of new parents and just kind of didn't know how to process when our daughter was upset and crying and stuff. I think we were just so new at it, but after a while you kind of get used to things. So but yeah, we, like I said, I'll watch TV with my kids. Like, we've been watching a lot of SpongeBob lately, and so we've been having a lot of fun with that. But for the most part, we don't want our kids to sit in front of a screen all day. We see it even on our kids. Like, if they get too much screen time or get too much TV time, they get really cranky. Very cranky. They start arguing with each other, fighting with each other. They start crying a lot. I think it's just too much overstimulation from all this stuff. And the stuff they make now, it is very overstimulating. You heard of like Cocomelon being very overstimulating for kids. They don't watch Cocomelon really, but you've heard of just overstimulation. You play Cocomelon and then it just keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps going with Cocomelon. Like, if you don't stop, it's just overstimulation. And yeah, I mean, my kids definitely struggle with that if we're not careful with their screen time. You might notice a change in your stress level if you are using your device too much. Research suggests that spending more time on the computer leads to higher stress levels. As a result of this stress, you may be more irritable, have trouble relaxing, feel fatigued, have physical symptoms such as a headache. I think we went over that already. So, excessive worry, mood swings, feeling of hopelessness or depression. So, here we go. Here, a study in teens linked excessive device use to increased rates of depression and slewer slide. I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube. The study did not show that screen use causes depression and slewer slide. My God, I hate doing this. My God, I know, I get why they gotta do it, but like, if we say it in the context, I don't think it should be something like that. But I get it. I guess they don't know who's posting what. So, but it suggests that teens who use screens excessively are more likely to be unhappy. Yeah, the whole world has changed with these phones, man. When they first came out, they were just awesome, and they're still awesome. But my God, it's just too much sometimes, and we're addicted. We're absolutely addicted to it. Um, it's just too much. Whenever somebody has a screen time of 8 hours or more, I'm thinking like, what in the heck? How does that happen? I looked at my screen time. My screen time is like 3.5 to 4 hours, but I work 10 hours and I usually will listen to like a podcast or a YouTube video or something like that while I'm on the job, just to not feel so bored, because I work alone. So I deliver packages for a living. I work alone, so my screen time is even like at 3.5, 4 hours, and I'm on it, and I use YouTube like in podcasts. Not all every day. I'll listen to music or something like that. But I guess does that count as screen time? I don't know if that counts or not. You have it on, but even that, like, it's still only 4 hours. And then you see like teenagers, they have like a screen time of like 8 hours. So, and I'm like, how does that happen? You sleep maybe 6 to 8 hours, then you go to school for like 7 hours, and the screen time's like 6. So I'm like, is the math in here? I'm just trying to figure out how much like actual time are you spending hanging out with friends, if your family members, socializing? Like, if it is any, it's not a lot at all. Maybe a couple hours or something like that. Maybe not even that. So yeah, it's just that's crazy. I want to read that decreased bone density. When we use our devices, we are often sitting or lying down. If this causes you not to get enough physical activity, it can cause a decrease in bone density. It also puts you at a greater risk of breaking a bone. Okay, so that's interesting. So I did not know that. High blood pressure, when device use leads to a lack of physical activity, it could also put you at a greater risk of chronic health problems such as high blood pressure. Yeah, so yeah, we're spending way too much time on these things. It's like I said, it's just so bad, especially with the youth. If you have a lot of time on your hands, what's the first thing you probably do? You'll probably just check your phone. I do this. I'm guilty of it too, just kind of like bored or just trying to figure out, things with my YouTube channel, if it's growing and stuff like that. Like, what's the watch hours, because I'm trying to get monetized as soon as possible and trying to see if I'm growing and everything like that. So I get it. There's a lot of things that can make you do that. So, but I think the most important thing here is the health concerns of it. Like, who would have thought that all this stuff would lead to all of this pain and things that are not good for you and not good for your health. Yeah, it's too much. So just put the phone away. Just put the phone away. Try to live in the moment, because it's affecting your health. So I would not like I said, I really hope that people don't just start passing away so early in life due to the crap that's in our food, the phone use causing all the stress and things associated with stress, like maybe like heart attack, heart disease, anxiety, depression that could lead to things that are worse, with people just getting negative stuff after negative stuff all the time. And that's not including like the teens and everything like that. They gotta go through social, if they have social media, they gotta deal with like cyberbullying or comparing themselves to others. Even adults do that. Like, if Instagram is like terrible for that. Just comparing yourself to others, not thinking you're good enough. Yeah, it's too much. Let's go. Let me see. I had a little video that I wanted to react to as well. So let's pull this up here. Watch a little bit of it and see what he says. I have not seen this, so
I have a very difficult time focusing on pretty much anything important or difficult. During these periods, it seems almost impossible to break out of the social media limbo, where you're just constantly switching between tabs, refreshing pages, kind of waiting for something interesting to happen, like for someone to post a cool photo on Instagram or something. You're kind of waiting to be entertained, but if you actually have to apply yourself, it's extremely difficult, borderline painful to do so. And I'm pretty sure almost everyone can relate to this problem. I'm sure you've seen a lot of videos on YouTube giving you little tips and tricks as to how to focus better, including my own channel, but there are very few videos kind of diving in, talking about why it's so difficult to focus on hard things. Like, what's the deal? Why can't we just sit down and do something important with very little strain? Why aren't we motivated to do the things that would significantly advance us further in our lives? Because it's not like we don't want those things. It's just hard. So in this video, I want to dive into why we procrastinate, why it's so hard to do important things. Because knowing how this all works helps us carve out
we procrastinate because I think we're just so addicted to our phones that we just want to just get on our phones and kind of forget about the real world, all the stresses of the real world. Because as much as negativity is on social media, there's also a lot of positive and funny things on there as well. So maybe it's just kind of an escapism uh, into away from the world. If I had to take a guess.
A long-term solution. It can help us permanently solve this problem. And that may sound really ambitious, but I do believe it is possible. But first we kind of have to discover a little bit more about our human brain. So a weird thing about our human brain, I'm really trying to convince you that I'm human. The weird thing about the brain is that it pretty much hasn't changed for thousands of years. We share, for the most part, the exact same brain as our hunter-gatherer ancestors. And this is the type of brain that was evolved to scan vast valleys for the prospect of food or a fresh kill, and absolutely light up and get excited at the sight of an antelope so you can gather your friends together and run after it, kill it. This is the kind of brain that as you're kind of going through a berry bush and you find a juicy berry, you're super excited, you eat the berry and it pretty much makes your day. You know, it's not really exciting stuff. There wasn't a lot of stuff to do back then, but that's just kind of the way.
Beat the family curse of hair loss. Through
It really
hairs,
was.
you can
When
break
I
the
kind of
cycle and
think
get the thicker,
about
fuller hair of your dreams.
Kind of the way it was.
How people
and the
had
reason
it back then, that's all they really knew, actually. But just thinking about it now, that there's so much that we could do with our phones, and we have cars to go anywhere, planes to travel. Like, I just feel like if we did have a time machine and we went back to those times, like, we would just be so, in my opinion, I just think that we'd be so bored. Like we're just so used to this life that going back to that would be boring. Maybe some people would like that, but I would just think that I need something, and that's what causes the phones and technology caused all this. You kind of cause people to take for granted just like quietness, hanging out with your family, just kind of, remember just back in the days in the 90s, you would just sit on your bed and just look up at the ceiling. You had nothing else going on. You're just kind of thinking about life, maybe tossing a baseball to yourself, catching it over and over again until you just got bored and then just got up and went outside. That's what they had to do, all that back in the day and long time ago. Now, if you ask a kid, like, hey, have you ever just kind of stared at the ceiling and thought, they probably look at you weird and be like, what are you talking about, man?
Why we were motivated to go run after an antelope or eat a fresh berry is the same reason we're motivated to go on Facebook and, check our notifications, go on Instagram, etc. The reason why we're motivated to do any of this stuff is because of a brain chemical called dopamine. Now, you've probably seen a lot of videos on YouTube, if you're into self-improvement, about dopamine. But dopamine is kind of misunderstood, because most people think it's the feel-good chemical. It's a brain chemical that's released when you're experiencing pleasure. It's the reason why you experience pleasure. But that's not exactly true, because dopamine is the motivating brain chemical. Dopamine is what's released when you feel like you're about to be rewarded, or when you feel like you're about to experience something pleasurable. When your ancient ancestors saw the antelope frolic across the field, they got a squirt of dopamine which motivated them to go kill it. When you see a notification pop up on Facebook, you get a squirt of dopamine which motivates you to click it. And what this means is that dopamine is what controls your motivation.
Thank you, boys. Oh, did you get a Big McChicken?
Yeah, you said McChicken. Now, why is this important? Despite the fact that we share the...
Too bad there's not like some pill you could take that gives you just a little bit of dopamine, I guess, besides that's like healthy for you, like instead of like in the morning before I go to work, sometimes I'll just get a little dopamine spike whenever I start thinking, oh, I'm gonna get like a soda at the gas station before I go. Like, I like to drink a soda, like a big soda, before I go to work, or after work, after a long hot day of working outside all day. Just get some soda. Like, it just kind of hits all of a sudden. It makes me happy. Just too bad we can't just have like a pill that's easy. Maybe it gives you like two hours of a dopamine hit, kind of thing that's good for you, so you can get like a little boost of happiness.
Exact same brains as our hunter-gatherer ancestors, We don't live in that world anymore. We live in a world of supernormal stimuli. Through ferocious technological advancement and capitalistic ventures, or whatever you want to call it, we live in a world where things are designed to be as pleasurable as humanly possible. And what supernormal stimuli does is it hijacks our natural reward pathways. It tricks our brain into thinking we are about to do something so important for our survival that we have an almost irresistible urge towards doing that thing. A good example of this is junk food. Food is integral for our survival, and high-calorie foods are usually even more important for our survival because, they'll keep us alive longer. The more calories, the longer we'll live, roughly speaking. See, what junk food does is it's mechanically engineered to be as high-fat, high-calorie as possible. So when we get that beautiful, when we eat that beautiful potato chip, our brain remembers that. And the next time we see a bag of potato chips at the grocery store, there's a huge amount of dopamine that's released.
Yep, see, that's what I was talking about with the soda. You drink enough. I'm not a big, I like soda, but I'm not, chugging, a 6-pack of it every day. I'll just kind of get, a 32-ounce at the gas station once in a while. But that's exactly what I was talking about. You just kind of, the things that they put in their snacks now and everything, they are basically chemicals to keep you wanting to come back. And they're just so good that you just want to keep coming back, getting more of it, and then you start thinking about it, and you just start getting happy, you want it more. That's exactly what I was talking about. Just that quick thing that you can kind of just get real quick that will kind of make you happy, make your day better, make you work harder possibly. It's could be good, but could be bad too. Like I said, it could be very addicting.
Motivating you to go grab that reward that's integral for your survival. So we almost become slaves to our dopamine system. We almost just go where our dopamine system tells us to go. That's why we get into kind of social media binge, because our brain is telling us to stay on these social media sites because there's a chance that we might get a reward.
And the social media companies, that's how they get all their money. That's how they pay all their workers, is to keep us on these sites. They keep us on these sites because if they're not putting things out there that are addicting to us, that are entertaining to us, then we'll leave, we'll go somewhere else. So they're trying to keep us on these platforms as much as possible, so they can make more money. Yeah, I mean, that's why they're there. They want to keep throwing all this information at you. That's why they have all the algorithms that know every single thing that you like, whether you like positivity, negativity. They have enough of it to go around for everybody. And there's not, something that they're going to run out of stuff to show you. There'll probably be things forever for people to show you. So sadly, you would hope that people get off the phones and then they run out of stuff, but it's just, there's too many people in the world, there's too many phones, there's too much technology, there's always something to go around. So yeah, they want their money, and they want you to stay on this stuff as long as possible.
Get social validation, where we might be able to look at something kind of stimulating and naughty. It's the dopamine system that's telling us and motivating us to stay there. So what does this all mean if we're bringing this all together? Basically, for most of us who have difficulty focusing, and we find it really, really difficult to be motivated to do harder things, that is only because we have reprogrammed our brain to fall for this supernormal stimuli rather than normal stimuli, natural stimuli. Because it's not that these natural rewards aren't rewarding, they're just less rewarding than the artificial supernormal rewards. So the long-term solution to be able to focus on...
Yeah, normal stimuli would have been just maybe long times ago killing something small to bring back to the family, catching a fish or killing a little animal to bring it back to the family, to feed the family, going outside, looking at a mountain that he's showing here, climbing the mountain, looking up at the sky, maybe seeing some clouds, seeing your family, just that was normal stimuli. Now it's anything. It could be anything. It could be cell phone use. It could be that show that you've been looking forward to, that other show you've been looking forward to, that girl that you've been talking to that you're hoping to date or something like that, or a guy that you're looking to date. what else? That family, that lost family member that you're hoping to talk to one day, that that you have not seen in forever, and you're hoping to talk to them again. It's stuff like that is kind of the stimuli that we're kind of having now for everything. You know, that baseball game that's on late, that baseball game that's on later, that new video game that's coming out. Your favorite TikToker and YouTuber have two new videos coming out later. The brand new, like I said, the brand new movie that you're going to go see with your friends. It's just, these are the things that is the stimulation now. And eventually it's got to the point where it's causing a lot of health concerns. It's because it's not just one thing, it's so much of it poured on you all at once. So what's the solution to this? How do you fix it? Maybe get rid of the cell phone, or at least turn it off, turn the TV off. Try not to look at anything like your computer unless you have to for work. You know, you don't do it all the time, but maybe take like a day or two just to kind of get back to the real world. Go take a walk. You know, just go to the store, look around for something. Maybe shop or something like that if you got the money. You know, stuff like that. Try to get away from these phones, because after a while you are just gonna feel overstimulated. I feel overstimulated. I get headaches and I know I got to step back. Like if I've been listening to too much music, I'll start getting a headache. I got to pull my earplug out and just I got to take a couple hours just to get back to normal, because I'm stressed. I have like a stress headache. I feel like, you ever feel like you have like a dumbbell just on your brain or something like that? That's how I feel if I just watch too much YouTube or listen to too much stuff or anything. Like I said, let's say you're working, trying to concentrate on your work, but you're also listening to this, so you have something constantly going in your head. You're trying to get like your things for work together. You're trying not to mess up, and that could cause a headache. So yeah, I think we need to just get back to simplicity. I think that will help. So anyway, this creator here is a better idea. So if you want, he's got 3 million subscribers. So go like him, give him a follow. I haven't seen his other stuff, but he seems like a pretty cool dude. So, but yeah, so overstimulation, it's a big problem, and I think we need to get back to simplicity. So, but thank you guys for checking out the video, and I will see you in the next one. All right, see ya.